In this video, I'm going to share with you 6 things that you may not like about living in Dallas. There is no denying that Dallas, which happens to be the 9th largest city in the US with a population of 1.3 million people, has a lot to offer, not only its residents, but visitors also. So let's dive into 6 reasons why you may not want to move to Dallas. Let me know if any of these reasons surprise you in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So let's start with the most obvious reason, in my opinion, that you may not want to move to Dallas, and that is the traffic. According to a recent study, Dallas ranks 6th as a city with the worst traffic. So for obvious reasons, there are more people moving to the area, but with all of these people, you're going to get more traffic jams. The condition of the roads in some parts of Dallas aren't the best. Like downtown Dallas, the roads are horrible. I mean, if you spend any time in downtown Dallas, you know what I'm talking about. But the traffic just in general, you definitely feel the squeeze of more people moving to the area. Now we do have toll roads and things like that, but you do have to pay to use those. And that does ease some of the traffic flow, but in general, the traffic in Dallas just kind of stinks, honestly. So Dallas does have a public transportation system, DART, and it does have a rail system as well as buses. So you can utilize that as a resource to travel to different parts of the city. But if you do live in the outskirts of Dallas, you probably are going to own a vehicle and be stuck in traffic. So another drawback of living in Dallas is the increase in the population. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, Dallas had the largest population gain of any U.S. metro area. So with that, of course, you're going to have more traffic. There's going to be more wear and tear on the infrastructure or the road systems. And of course, more competition for housing. So with the increase in population, that has negatively affected some aspects of Dallas. So just keep that in mind if you are considering moving to the area. So another thing to keep in mind when considering Dallas is the crime. So according to neighborhoodscout.com, on a scale of 1 to 100, Dallas's crime index rating is a 5. And that simply means that Dallas is only safer than 5% of the cities in the US. So crime is an issue in Dallas. Of course, it's something that is ongoing with trying to fight crime and get the right programs in place to deter crime and events like that. But just like with any city, you definitely need to do your homework. Some areas are more crime infested than others. So just do your due diligence and know that yes, it is a larger US city. So yes, crime is going to be present. Just know that some areas have more crime than others. So if you have spent any time in Dallas, you know that one of the not so popular or favorite things that you experience is the weather. We do have some extreme heat as far as higher temps in the 100+ degree range. We have multiple days with 100+ degree temperatures. So just keep in mind that if you are an outdoors person, July and August is going to be brutal. It's going to be very, very hot. You'll have to drink a lot of water, and it's just not an enjoyable time to be outside, especially in the middle of the day. So we do experience these extremely hot days, and sometimes it does overpower our electric grid. With the 1 million+ people that live in Dallas and everyone is trying to stay cool in these hot summer temps, it can cause blackouts. They try to do them in rolling blackouts, but just know that that is an issue that we are starting to experience more in the Dallas area. All right, so we've talked about the heat. Let's talk about some of the severe weather that we do experience in Dallas. Dallas does have its occasional tornado. And if it's not a tornado, we just kind of have just severe thunderstorms that can produce hail, high winds. It feels like you're in a tornado. So just know that severe weather is something that is happening, as well as your occasional flooding. So even though we're not a coastal city, Dallas does experience flooding from time to time. Another thing that you will want to consider for moving to Dallas is how spread out it is. I think it's because it's in a metroplex area, because you have Dallas and Fort Worth and a multitude of cities in between and along the outskirts of those cities. But Dallas in general is pretty spread out. So just realize that there's a joke that kind of goes around where like, I'm from Dallas, like, oh, I'm from Dallas too. But you could be literally like an hour away from each other. So just keep in mind that Dallas is spread out. It is a very vehicle heavy city. So a lot of people who live here do own a vehicle. You do have your public transportation, but in general, most people do get around using a car. So for example, my sister recently moved to the Dallas area and she's about 45 minutes away from me. So just know that Dallas is spread out. Don't just look at a map and think like everything is close, because the maps can be very deceiving. You need to experience it, drive different places, and really get a feel for how things are spread out and the lay of the land. So let's talk about the landscape in Dallas. In general, the landscape is just not exciting. It's pretty flat. There's not a lot of hills. There are some trees, but again, it's not like the hill country in Texas or Central or South Texas where you get some variety with some mountains or hills. Dallas is relatively flat, just not a lot of interesting landscape or things that you can see. So just keep that in mind. Of course, there are some cool things to do as far as culturally, museums and things like that. There's the Dallas Arboretum, which is beautiful. But in general, Dallas is pretty flat and kind of blah when it comes to landscape. Let me know if anything surprised you on this list, and I'll see you in the next video.